I'm head of the environment program at the UNDP office, country office here in Namibia. All protocol observed is already established. So my name is Uazamo Kaura, as already introduced. So basically, MEEs are just multilateral environmental agreements, which back when in 1972 there was the first conference in Stockholm, Sweden, where the world leaders came together at that time, and then they were saying that we're currently facing big problems in terms of the environment. And then after that, a few years passed, and 20 years thereafter, in 1992 in Rio, Brazil, they set up what they call the Multilateral Environmental Conventions of the United Conventions, which we then have the UNS, the Climate Change Convention, we have the Biodiversity Convention, and then we have the Convention on Pacification. But of course, multilateral environmental agreements can also be any other agreements leading to the environment, Montreal Protocol, and other protocols established. So basically, I think as already indicated by our CEO from the Environmental Investment Fund, climate change, of course, is threatening water and food security and other aspects of our livelihoods and the safety of billions of people worldwide. So what we're trying to do is we are trying to regain those reversals caused by climate change through some of this, not only climate change, but also biodiversity loss and desertification and land degradation through some of these multilateral environmental agreements that we have tried to come together as in different parts of the world to ensure that at the end of the day, at least there is some sort of financing and agreements and infrastructural development so that countries can at least so that we can take a lot of our populations out of poverty. So UNDP is one of the UN agencies, of course, also of course addresses a lot of these multilateral agreements through various conventions addressing issues of biodiversity and ecosystem services, sustainable land management, water and ocean governance, and then through all of these programs, we have a number of programs which address the needs of some of these programs that we need to address, and then address through the Global Environmental Facility, the GCF, Adaptation Fund, and other funding mechanisms, and also through our development partners who work with us to ensure that we address some of these environmental concerns that we are trying to, that we are facing currently. So over the years, at least for Namibia since 1990, UNDP and other UN agencies have helped the country in accessing a number of multilateral environmental agreements, finance-related aspects, especially through through the Global Environmental Facility. For example, we assisted in strengthening the protected area network, in which really essentially just looked at our national resources in terms of our parks, in terms of conserving globally significant biodiversity, ecological processes, and ecosystem services. So it's basically looking at CBNRN products, looking at our different national parks that we have all over the country. And of course, and then through this, sometimes we have best practices and lessons learned, and then through that we develop another program which addresses some of the lessons learned from the previous project, or maybe you have now a new niche and a new need. Then through this, you can see that there is a sort of a timeline where you then start addressing maybe issues of conservation under a new mechanism. Like we had the past, we had a project called NAMPLACE, now we have a project called Human Wildlife Conflict, and then we also have other new projects like Multilateral, which try and integrate a lot of these programs, because I think as we move forward to find that always new conflicts are coming up, and there are always new needs for the population to be addressed. And of course, it's not only about physical infrastructure or addressing issues the communities are facing, but also as a country, we need to periodically report to all the three different conventions. So one of them, for example, is the Convention on Climate Change, and through this we'll access finance to try and report on our greenhouse gas emissions, looking at our adaptation actions, and then through this whole timeline of reporting, we eventually came to what we call the national development, nationally determined contribution, the NDCs, which everybody is talking about lately, which is a sort of a driver for sustainable development under the climate change convention. And of course, this was after the Paris Agreement. So the NDC targets the targets of energy, adaptation, nature-based solution, gender, and other areas. And in Namibia, we submitted our first NDC, our revised NDC in 2021, but then after trying to align it to different developmental goals and also trying to revise the document, this year we have started, we did the revision again to the NDC. And then, of course, also in terms of when you are addressing issues of climate change, biodiversity loss, and you are addressing them through multilateral environmental agreements, through your partnerships with the private sector, of course, there are always those issues which continuously come up. Like come 2020, we had issues of COVID, we had issues of like the war in Ukraine, we had continued climate crisis, and of course, different countries, it means that this leads to debt issues, inflation, interest rates high, energy and food crises all over the world. And then, of course, there are also a lot of young people who are currently unemployed. The youth are rising, and how do we factor them in terms of innovation, technologies, and all these other aspects that we want to include them in terms of development. The issues of, like I'm saying, issues of the digitalization, and what about our weakened democracies and social contracts, which are currently under pressure just because of these issues of climate change, pandemics, and wars. So, as such, UNDP, of course, revamped also its strategy, and then through that, we wanted to look at different issues of poverty, governance, resilience building, issues of the environment, energy, and gender equality. So this is just so that they can also align fully well with the SDGs, but also align in what we call our different accelerators like development finance, strategic innovation, and digitalization. In terms of development finance, we have our resident representative who will come here this afternoon and talk about those issues of development finance, innovative financing, and our work with the private sector. And then, of course, these are just some of the examples of what UNDP has offered or is offering going forward, just based on its strategies, where we support SDG 7 in terms of ensuring access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable modern energy. Like for example, we have now a new facility that the Solar for Health, which we aim to at least electrify, at least provide electricity to off-grid clinics in the country. And we are also looking at issues of course just and sustainable energy transition. I think we have our director here, our negotiator who can look at those issues of just and sustainable energy transition, because it's one of the key developmental issues that we face, because we have an energy crisis in Southern Africa. We need to use our coal to develop at a certain extent, but at what cost should we use these different aspects in terms of using renewable energy sources if they are not available and affordable to us. And of course, I think as countries, climate change adaptation, as developing countries, climate change adaptation is very important to us. That is why UNDP focus a lot on food and agricultural commodity system, and of course we work with entities such as the FAO and WFP in terms of scaling up climate efficient on land use and agriculture. We look at issues of what they call RED. RED is just basically reducing emission for deforestation and forest degradation. So these are mostly forested areas, countries like Gabon, but we also have in the Zambezi region some of these projects that we want to initiate. We have to look at issues of circular and green economy. How do we extract our resources? What methodologies do we use to extract our resources? How do we manage our greenhouse gas inventories? How do some of these profits that we get go down or trickle down to the communities on the ground? And those are some of the other issues relating to the circular economy and green economy, which have been mentioned. And the CEO already also mentioned issues of waste management and recycling. One of the service offers we've worked a lot in during the past year was the issue of carbon markets. Also have a colleague who will come here and do a presentation on carbon markets. So basically, this is also under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, so that we can look at how can carbon markets be used to fund for our NDCs and also to meet our mitigation goals. Of course, sustainable finance, that is why we're all here for, in terms of how do we look at partnership, how do we look at how do we ensure that the finance that we get today is sustainable over a long-term period and it's not only a once-off offer. So we look at issues of public finance, unlocking private capital, SDG impact management, integrated national financing frameworks. Most of this will also be addressed by then Ara, who's an economist, and she's very good at explaining some of these terms. And of course, in terms of looking at issues of different partnerships, like for example, you can look at the issue of climate change, like I've said, and here you will extract a lot of different issues in terms of how green can we get as a country, where can we get the last dollar to ensure that we're implementing those mitigation goals that we have, or actions that we have set ourselves to. How can we invest in rural electrification, off-grid electrification? How can we ensure that a certain community has access to water using the solar water pump? So these are some of the different climate financing instruments that we use at the UNDP. And of course, at the country office, just because we have to align ourselves not with the Harambee Prosperity Plan, but also the National Development Goals, we have also aligned ourselves with the UNDP, the international UNDP goals, or the global UNDP goals. And as such, we have these 3 portfolios who will then try and support to eradicate poverty, reduce inequality, and enhance resilience. So, and for our portfolio, and then this is where most of the multilateral environmental agreements come in. That is what we call the summer portfolio, where we look at the national resource management, we look at climate change adaptation, issues of climate change mitigation, pollution, and waste management. I think I will end there for now, Chairperson. When I came on board, I was not given a time limit. Thank you.